Hi, welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm your host, Greg Fitzsimmons. I just recorded an intro for this podcast, but fucking Zoom crashed after my recording, so I have to redo it. This will be better. I think it gets better. That was like a rehearsal. So here we are. We're back. We're very excited. Ellen DeGeneres has a new special out on Netflix. It's all about how she's not mean and how the industry keeps canceling her, and she can't figure out why. The first time it was because she had a sitcom on the air that suddenly sucked. It lost its ratings and was taken off the schedule because it was no longer funny. It's not because she came out of the closet as gay. Nobody fucking cared. She was on the cover of Newsweek. Everybody celebrated it. Get over it. That's not why. You started being indulgent, so it failed. Now she's got a new special where apparently the media has gone after her again for being mean to her employees. Was it maybe the employees that were upset? I don't think it was the media. I think the media picked up on the fact that she has fired or caused nervous breakdowns for dozens of staff members over the years. And so the special takes no accountability, no responsibility, and the reviews are in. Let's check in on a couple of the reviews. Time Magazine says that they wish that before she had written and performed a 70-minute infomercial to restore her reputation, she had thought about it more. Variety Magazine said, to allude to having been maltreated and thrown out of show business while dancing around what exactly happened on her set requires both nimbleness and a bit of nerve. The special, in the end, is a frustrating watch and a bum note to go out on. How about Cracked Magazine, which, by the way, is kind of the magazine for reviewing comedy. They reviewed my special. Whatever. They loved it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not comparing myself to Ellen. They happen to love mine. They happen to say this about hers. There's never been a stand-up special more aptly named than Ellen's For Your Approval, which dropped today on Netflix. It's one of the weirder stand-up shows in recent memory. Half observational punchlines, half closing argument in a trial featuring DeGeneres as her own defense attorney. Neither works on its own. Taken as a whole, it's an exhausting mess. Well, I just hope Ellen doesn't read reviews because this is going to be a tough weekend. Portia de Rossi has her hands full this week. Oh my God, she is going to make a lot of margaritas. There's going to be foot rubs until her hands are sore. Oh, get some more tissues. That sounds bitter. I'm not bitter. Look, I won 4 Emmys with her, and I made a lot of money. But in the end, take some responsibility for how you treated people. Maybe show that you've changed in some way. I don't know. So let's talk about, I'm going to Alaska tomorrow morning. Got 4 shows in Fairbanks. I think most of them are sold out, but try to get tickets at fitzdog.com. Just did a beautiful, meaningful podcast. Jeff Foxworthy had me on his show. I've never met him before, and he'd watched my special. He was very supportive, very nice, and we just bonded, just clicked. Went deep into comedy, had a lot of laughs. He told me about Stephen Wright being the first one to tell him that he should do this for a living, and Bill Hicks stories. It was great. So I think that's out in a couple days. My Howie Mandel, I went on his show. That came out yesterday. Harlan Williams did his podcast. That came out today. So check out all of those. Those were fun. The special just hit 360,000 views, which is probably double what I had expected, which is very exciting. Thank you guys for your support, your likes, your shares, comments, and it means a lot. I'm touched. And thanks to the people who donated money. Somebody donated $200 on the YouTube link yesterday. And someone gave $500 last week. But whatever. If you want to give $2, that's great too. $5, I don't give a shit. I've self-financed. It's nice to get a little back, but if you want to just watch it too and not pay anything, that's fine. You live with yourself. No, I'm kidding. I really, I don't care about making that money back. I just want people to see it, come out to the clubs. That was the whole point of making it. As I said, coming to Alaska next week, Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Bricktown Comedy Club, the 10th through the 12th. Kansas City, the Funny Bone, October 18 and 19. Then I'm coming to Philly in November, Tacoma in November, Tempe in November. In December, I'll be in San Francisco, Cleveland, Atlanta. January, I'm in Janesville, Wisconsin, Nyack, New York, Raleigh, North Carolina, Milwaukee. February, I'll be in Vegas and Pittsburgh. Go to Fitzdog.com. Get yourself some tickets. Come out and see some live comedy. I got a brand new hour, totally different than the old one. Also, I want to remind you guys that support for Fitzdog Radio comes from MyBookie, the site for gambling online. For me, it's a tough week. I had some losers this past weekend. I was in a pool that I got knocked out of because I stupidly bet against the Giants. Here's my rule in gambling. Never, ever bet for or against the New York teams. Giants and Jets will break your heart every time. And I did it. I broke my rule, and I feel like a fool. My wife yelled at me because she knows my rule. But you always win when you play MyBookie because you're always having fun. It gets me more involved in watching the games. They've got all these risk-free bets, thousands in cash prizes. It's and the fun thing is it's all on your phone. Anytime you've got 10 minutes, maybe you're online at a drive-through. Maybe you're at the kind of job where there's long stretches. Boom. Do a little research. Get excited about the games that are coming up. They've got their 10th anniversary is going on. So they've got this risk-free Thursdays all season long, every Thursday. If your boosted bet doesn't hit, you'll get your money back. Now, I'm not following how that works. This is a sponsor that I expect to pay me. I don't know how they're making money on this. But it's weekly, win-win bets all season long. Take advantage of them. Sign up now at mybookie.ag and use my promo code FITZ. That's FITZ. Cash in on a double deposit bonus. You can literally double the cash in your account before you even place your first bet. Don't wait on that. It's also available for don't wait on it. It's only available for a limited time. Turn that football knowledge into big-time payouts with MyBookie. And if you've been playing for a while, they got something for you as well. They got a new loyalty program, MyBookie Plus. It's simple. The more you play, the more you earn. There's different tiers. You get exclusive promotions, giveaways, cash back. It all builds up the more you play. So bet upsets, whatever, shootouts. There's so many ways to play. It's creative. It's interesting to get to know the site. So make your football season a winning season with MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Okay, now let's get to my guest. I had him on yesterday. Great talk. This dude is one of the guys in the trenches in New York, banging out sets at the Comedy Cellar every night, going on the road, starting to sell out. He was on Rogan a couple weeks ago. He's got 3 specials on YouTube. And he's been on Fallon, Cordon, Comedy Central. Really good dude. I know you're going to like him. Enjoy Raanan Hershberg. Welcome to the show, Raanan Hershberg.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for it. Jesus Christ, man. I'm so happy to see you again. I feel like it was just yesterday.
Yeah. Can I tell a story from it?
Yes, please.
I don't know if you remember. It was
here's what's funny. Now, in full disclosure, I just met you out front. And your agent, who used to be my agent.
Oh, really?
Ian Aragahato.
Did you leave him because he's not good? Or
No, we were at the Gersh agency.
Mm-hmm.
And the agent that I was with there kind of co-represented me with
Oh, I
him.
see.
And then he left to go to, where is he now?
He's doing him and Justin Silvera have their own like management
because he
company.
left to go to like one of the big ones.
Yeah.
He was at like ICM or
Yeah, and then
CAA
he's
or
left
something.
that, and now he.
Oh, that's good.
It was actually fun. I got an email from them once, and it was like great news. And I thought, whenever you get a great news from your manager, you think like, oh, I got some gig or something. And it just said, we're officially a management company.
Oh no! Oh, they're managers now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, officially a manager? I thought we already were. What am I doing?
Yeah, right. That's great. So anyway, he pitched me you, and I try to avoid pitches from agents and managers because it's just generally like
it's all friends and stuff.
Or it's just somebody that I like bringing friends in, people that I
That's
know.
what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, so he pitched you, and I was like, well, I know that name, and so I looked at your video, and after 2 seconds, I was like, oh yeah, I love this guy, but I couldn't remember where, and I've been beating my head looking at your bio online and all this shit, and then I just saw you up front. And you reminded me that you opened for me in Lexington 7 years ago.
Yeah, and there's 2 things from that stick with me.
Okay.
You had one of the best roast jokes about me ever. I quote that to this day, like a lot. Not a roast, but like a very fun. I said, we were talking about coffee.
Yeah.
And I was like, you drank yours black. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's like what psychopaths do. And then you said, what kind of coffee you drink? And I was like, I typically drink like a pumpkin spice latte or something. And you immediately said, man, you don't miss an opportunity to gain weight, do you? It was. I don't know if you had done that line before, but it was fun.
No,
it was
one of
the great insults
That's
of all.
great.
It was beautiful. I tell that. Like, anytime your name gets brought up, I bring that up. I've only had one other is like Mike Lawrence. You know Mike Lawrence?
Of course.
The first time I met him, he knew I was Jewish. I guess it's kind of obvious at times. And he immediately would call me Schindler's Lisp. Which I'm now using for a track title for one of my albums.
Yeah, that's good.
But the other story about you, we were at the club. Whatever, it's not embarrassing. But we saw a movie. It was some kind of like, I think it was a James Bond movie.
This was in Philly?
No, in
in Lexington.
In Lexington.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was at that mall in Lexington. We were at Starbucks, and you were ordering a Starbucks, and you took.
God, we have a lot of coffee stories.
Yeah.
Shit.
And you took a candy bar from the thing and just put it in your pocket.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And I was like, I didn't know if you were like, I didn't know if it was like I was like, are you just like one of those older kleptomaniacs that you hear about, like on Seinfeld, where
you're like successful, plenty of money.
Yeah.
I'm the headliner. You're opening for me.
But I called. I was like, "Did you steal that?" Afterwards, I like asked, and then you said, maybe you were lying. You said, "Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize I didn't pay."
No, I did. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh no, I steal them.
So yeah, I think you were doing the not that you were an old guy, but you were doing the old guy. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. I'm almost at the age where I can get away with that. Yeah, and also calling girls sweetie.
Yeah.
And being a little handsy around young women. I'm almost old enough to get away with that.
Well, I don't think anyone can get away with it now. I feel like all the old actors.
I know.
They keep getting fired because they have the intimacy coordinator.
I have a friend who's a director, and he's one of the most successful directors in TV. And he said to women. He said to the guy, all right, I got to go do this. Why don't you sit with these 2 pretty ladies, and then I'll get back to you in a little while. Human resources.
You never saw him again.
Fired from the film.
So funny to like walk away and then you never see him.
They should just have a cannon.
Yeah.
PC cannon.
That's brutal. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, when I go to Starbucks, I just hate corporations so much that I enjoy stealing from them. Mm-hmm. And so when I go to Starbucks, they always have those really good peanut butter bars, they're refrigerated. And I cuff it and I slip it into my pocket.
I'm a little salty you lied to me, though. Like, you didn't want to let me in on it?
I can't believe I did that. I must have been new to it. I haven't done it for 7 years I've been doing it.
Right? Okay.
And
so you still do it?
Yeah.
I have nothing against it. I can't do it just because I would be so... I think to do that kind of stuff, you have to not be embarrassed if you get caught.
Yes.
And you don't seem a kind of guy who gets embarrassed
Wouldn't bother
easily.
me.
I would get very embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it'd be the kind of thing where I do it once and get caught. and I just get really. I think that's the key to stealing.
Yeah.
You just have to be pretty confrontational socially. If you get caught, you have to be prepared.
And murder.
Murder, yeah.
I mean, all crime in general, you have to be a touch psychopathic. I'm just a hint psychopathic.
Yes, that's why I feel like if I ever was charged with murder,
Yeah.
I would just like my evidence against it would be like I get anxious if I'm like kind of late for a flight. So there's no way I could murder. Like I would just get people on the stand talking about how anxious I am for like regular things. Like how can you? You can't be anxious because you're like maybe. Like, I'll be anxious if I'm just on time for a flight. You can't have that and murder someone, you know?
Yeah. Like, I that's why I think we all love these shows about psychopathic murder. Have you seen Mr. In Between?
No.
Dude, it's this Australian TV show. But it's a hitman, and he's got no remorse when he kills people. Like, none.
That'd be weird if he did, if he was a hitman. He just kept on feeling bad about it every time.
Yeah.
Like, what have I done?
Yeah. And you're always waiting for that in the series. You're waiting for, like, obviously there's a writer's room, and they have to say, well, he needs redemption, and he needs culpability. And so this guy never gets it, but he also loves his daughter, and he's a very loyal friend.
Interesting.
So you see humanity in him, he was abused as a kid, and then he fought in war, I guess the Gulf War or something, and he went through a lot of shit, so it's kind of numbed him to it all.
And now he's just like, I might as well make money from it, from the numbness.
But I think all of us experience rage. It's maybe you don't. I mean, you're Jewish.
Of course
This whole Palestinian thing, your blood must be boiling. Watch I make the whole podcast about that.
I'm not mad at, I'm more mad at anti-Semites. I'm not mad at, I'm not like Gazans.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I do think like our interest in psychopaths is we kind of are like, I think the reason we, like, everyone complains about people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of because we can't murder them.
Yeah.
So we're left complaining. Like, anytime you complain about a boss or anyone, the other person will be like, well, just murder them. And you're like, I can't. And then, then shut up.
Yeah.
And psychopaths, it feels like they don't have to ever complain because they just murder the person. So it seems a little zen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a little calm.
And that's the moment that you really love in the TV show is when the person crosses them.
Yeah.
They always make that person an asshole. They always give it some element of justified murder.
Even though it's like, it could be a very little asshole thing. But
like a road rage thing.
We're so quick to call someone evil and deserve to die.
Yeah.
Like, he just got a guy rude at a bar, and then he kills him, and you're like, he deserved it.
Yeah. But I also think I had this kind of idea that, like, what if in life you're born and when you turn 18, they give you one bullet?
To kill someone?
You can do whatever you want with it. You can kill yourself. You can kill somebody else. You can shoot at a tree.
Oh, so you don't have to. You can.
There's no consequences.
You have to shoot it, though. You do have to shoot it.
You don't have to shoot it. I guess, shoot it into the ground if you don't want to shoot it. But there's no consequences whatsoever. And that way, you would see less rudeness in the world.
Everyone gets it out, kind of? Oh, because the person might be ready for, like, it might be his murder coming up.
You could be his bullet or her bullet. No, women don't get them.
But couldn't you also have
periods.
Couldn't you also be the bullet guy?
What do you mean?
Like, you're saying someone wouldn't be rude to a guy because they're like, oh, that guy might have his murder.
Shoot me. Yeah.
But what if I also have that? Like, what if I have
so
a
you're
bullet?
saying it might empower people?
Yeah, it might have two people just shoot each other. I guess it's fine as long as as long as two people come to conflict, one of them has given up. As long as one of them has already used the bullet, it's fine. But if both people have not used the bullet, but you're saying you have to use that at 18 or you can wait?
No, you don't get it till 18 because I think there'd be too much killing.
But can you wait to use it after 18 or do you have to use it?
No, you can do it until you're 78 years old.
So
after 78, you can't use it
I think
anymore.
it's a good system except for the fact if two people come into conflict where both of them have not used the bullet.
Well, I think you get marked. You get a slash on your forehead once you've shot your bullet. So people know.
So those people are kind of pretty defenseless.
They better be really polite people.
Yeah, it seems like a good plan. There might be a couple, holes in it. Like, it might make things a little worse.
Well, there's more holes in everybody having unlimited bullets all the time.
That's a good point. Well, they still hopefully go to jail. But that's true. Isn't it interesting, though, that I've always found it interesting that we really don't mind hitmen in movies. We kind of find them likable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a serial killer, we're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that if you're in a way, killing for money is kind of worse because you don't really have a compulsion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of it's like in a way colder. Like serial killers who kill for just the love of it.
Yeah.
They're pretty messed. Like it's like, but we find them more creepy. It's almost like we understand it more if you're making money from it. It's like a capitalist thing. Like as long as you're making money from it, we get it. And a serial killer's like, wait, you murder, you don't even financially profit from it? That's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I remember, and whenever they do a movie about it, like what was the one recently about, was it Dahmer? Yeah, Dahmer.
Yeah.
And they just show the amount of abuse from childhood, and they start to build up empathy for this character.
Yeah.
And so they're really tricking you into pulling for, I mean, even Tony Soprano, who I think faced very little remorse. He shot his nephew.
No, yeah, he doesn't have remorse. He has sometimes the idea of remorse, but he doesn't actually feel it. I don't think.
Yeah.
He wants to be a good person, but he isn't a good person.
Right.
Yeah. No, but like, I think it's like if you're making money from it, we're not as weirded out by it.
Yeah. I guess because it removes the person that's ordering the hit. Now, are they a psychopath?
Right.
Or are they one step removed, so it's a little bit, you're not looking the person in the eye, you're not chopping up the body.
And I guess you kind of think if someone has a hit on them, maybe they deserve it, even though they probably don't always deserve it, but yeah. Or maybe they're into some bad shit.
I would say I would be fully capable of killing a pedophile.
Really?
If I thought it was an active pedophile, like somebody who was practicing it, I could easily...
Like it's a religion?
He's getting really good at it.
He's a very observant pedophile. He fucks 3 kids a day.
Never diddles on Sunday.
Very, very hardworking pedophile.
Yeah.
You'd kill a pedophile?
I think I would. I think I would not... I would do it clean. I would get a windowless van. I'd know their route. I'd pull up next to them, open up the side door.
Yeah.
I'd be with a friend.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. Keep driving. That's
Can I ask you a personal question about that? Do you think it's because you just think pedophiles are so much more evil, or do you kind of have the murder instinct in you, and this is the one social acceptable opportunity?
Bingo. That's interesting.
I think
you just
a little bit
out.
of psychopath. The people are like a little psychopathic. They love pedophiles because you can kill pedophiles.
Yeah, right.
We're allowed to kill pedophiles.
Once you have kids,
to hate pedophiles.
Once you have kids, your tolerance for pedophiles goes way.
I get it. I don't have kids, so I don't care when kids are getting fucked. I love it. I'm like, child porn is awesome. Then you have kids, and it's like, what? Don't give me that bullshit.
God.
I thought kids getting fucked was fun. And then I had a kid, and I'm like, oh my God. I really, it makes me rethink the whole, maybe the church is kind of fucked up.
You just don't like when overweight people get shot. That really gets to you.
It's upsetting.
When you see the victim and it's a big coffin.
Yeah, that's upsetting. Yeah. It's pretty fat to have a big coffin. To go beyond the coffin. Would you have to have a different coffin size? That's a real level. That's way beyond clothes.
There was a guy in the Guinness Book of World Records, because when I was growing up, that was a big thing, the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was for me too, actually. I'm 40.
And I just remember there was the guy who was the fattest man ever. I think his name was Walter something. Can you look it up? Walter something. And when he died, they said he was buried in a piano case.
Oh, wow.
He was so fat.
I've never even really thought of what a piano case is. What is I never see a piano in a case.
Well, like say you got a gig on the road, you got to put your piano in something.
Well, not a piano.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking? What's a piano case?
They have them on wheels now, which is so much easier.
But yeah, I mean, I get that. But yeah, I guess I guess I don't understand.
Robert Earl Hughes.
1,041 pounds.
Wow.
Man, that's not what you want to get into the Guinness Book World Records for.
No. What do you want to get in for?
It's an interesting question. I feel like there's
I mean,
something.
what comedian records are there? I know the longest show is gone back and forth between Dane Cook and Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
And then there's also a record for which one you'd most want to be at among the general population.
Wait, record. Oh, really? Wait, so they both have gone like beyond like
7-8 hours.
I wouldn't want to get in. I wouldn't want to get into the book for that either.
No.
For rudeness.
I don't want to get in for biggest crowd.
Well, it's not like you're in the running.
Biggest crowd at the.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
Biggest crowd at the Tempe Improv on a Saturday first show. No, I'm safe. I'm safe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I've had some demoralizing moments. I might get in for some of the most demoralizing moments.
Yeah.
This is pretty big. Can you beat? I don't know. This might be, in terms of like demoralizing as a comic. One time I was at a club and I was headlining the earlier show.
Yeah.
And Carlos Mencia was headlining the later show.
Uh-huh.
And I get to the club and the manager immediately goes, "You can't go in the green room. Carlos Mencia's merch is in there, and he has it in his contract. No one's allowed to be around his merch."
No kidding.
So I wasn't allowed to go in the green room. Shirts. I love Carlos shirts. Were higher up on the hierarchy than me. That could be Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Those shirts made more money than you did that
They
night.
did. They got more respect.
Yeah.
They got the servers went up to them more, asked if they needed anything.
And the crazy thing is, they weren't even Carlos shirts. They were Bill
know.
Cosby shirts.
I know. Yeah, so that's pretty big, right? That's could go in there.
Yeah, that's humiliating. I once I was booked to do a college at, there's a Michigan, there's a engineering school in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
Oh yeah, was this part of the what's that run with the funny business?
It wasn't a run. It was just a college show.
I've been to the Upper Peninsula.
One college
it's
show.
Wild.
It's wild.
You feel like you're at the end of the world.
It's at the tip, the northern,
There's that crazy bridge. That's like
Yep,
wild.
there's one way in and one way out.
Yeah, it is wild.
So I get booked at this Marquette University, and it's considered one of the best engineering schools in the country. And so I fly in. Now, first I get called by my agent. He goes, "All right, you know that gig you have on February 21st?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, they got an opportunity to bring in Wayne Brady on the same night." And I'm thinking he's going to say I'm canceling. He goes, "So they want to see if you'll open for Wayne, same money, but they're going to add a second show so you'll get double the money." And I'm like, well, no brainer. I do
Right.
20 minutes twice and make double the money.
Yeah.
So I say, great. I don't know Wayne Brady. So I fly in, and it's a connecting flight to a little fucking prop plane. And the airport is like 100 yards from the school. It's the only reason the airport is there, to service the school. And I get to the venue, and the student activities woman goes, you can't go in the green room. I walk in, and there's like a carving station and a buffet and a bar, and because he's got a posse, and she said he said the opener can't come in the. So I go
like my
over.
story.
So I go over and I get some roast beef, and I go, he's gonna have to tell me that himself.
This is where a little bit of psychopath comes in well,
Yeah. So I'm sitting there enjoying my meal, and then Wayne and his boys come in, and they fucking ignore me. They don't say one word to me. So I go up on stage, and I do my show, and then he goes up and he does his bullshit step and fetch it kind of bullshit, and he does. Of course, he does well. He's dancing for these white kids in the Midwest, and and then the lady said to me, Wayne insisted on having a stretch limo take him from the airport to the venue. She goes, but we don't have stretch limos in the Upper Peninsula. And so the agent insisted. And so they had to drive one in from like Green Bay. All to take him like 100 yards to the school. And then it was in his contract that he had a 54-inch flat screen TV in his hotel room so he could play video games. And he measured it, and it wasn't big enough, and they made him get another one. So she tells this whole story. She can't stand the guy. I can't stand the guy. So the next week I go on the Howard Stern show, and I tell the whole story.
Yes, of course.
Everything. And then I had a friend who had a show on the air at that point, the Wayne Brady show, and my friend wrote for it. and said he was slamming doors, he was screaming.
He was slamming doors, and he was like, "This door isn't big enough. I said I want a bigger door. This is my contract."
Yeah. But he sang it. And then I was working on a TV show.
Ellen?
No, it was for Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
And it was a sketch show on Fox, and one of the writers, you ever heard of Robin Thede? She created that black woman sketch show.
Yes, I do know her.
Very talented,
Yeah.
very funny, nice woman. So she was on the sketch show, and we're in the writer's room, and this is my first fucking day. And I wasn't the head writer, but I was kind of brought in because things were going off the rails, and they wanted me to help kind of straighten it out.
Yeah.
And so I came in and I go, they're pitching on who's somebody who's famous, but they're in the closet. And they go, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and I go, Wayne Brady, and the whole room goes silent. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, what's going on? And then somebody goes, Robin's dating Wayne. And I said, no. I go, I'm just saying, like, it's like a rumor. I don't think it's true. You know, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So then Wayne Brady comes into work a couple weeks later.
This is epic.
Yeah. And he comes in, and I'm in her office, and he walks in, and I see him, and he sees me. And then I said, how you doing? He just nods, and I walk out, and I'm standing by the elevators. And then he comes out later, and he goes, you know, I was going to beat your ass. And then Hugh Fink, who was one of the writers, was behind a door, and I could hear him bust out laughing. And just the idea.
Funniest thing he's ever said.
Get it.
You're like, you are great at improv. That's a great line.
Can you imagine getting beat up by Wayne Brady? It would be so embarrassing. So, yeah. So now I'm telling it again.
You would literally be the one black guy where it'd be embarrassing to get beat up by. Every other black guy would be like, everybody would be like, I get it.
Yeah, sure.
But you're the only one where like, really?
RuPaul. Got it. Sure.
No, I got
Fucking
RuPaul.
tough dude. Yeah.
Wow. That's an epic story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not as demoralizing as mine just because it seems like you fought back a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like you actually told a somewhat empowering story.
Yeah. I felt empowered over it. I'll make a big deal out of nothing. Have you ever been beat up?
No.
You grew up in Louisville?
Yeah.
Huh.
You grew up in Boston or?
No, everybody thinks I'm from Boston because I went to college there.
Yeah.
And then I started doing stand-up when I was in college.
And you're like Irish. And
I'm Irish.
Well,
I
where
grew
are you from?
from New York.
Oh, where in New York?
Tarrytown?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mom's from Brooklyn, so.
Okay.
I don't know. I have New York blood in me, I guess. Everyone thinks I'm from New York because I'm Jewish.
Well, yeah, I could see you as a New Yorker. You definitely don't seem like somebody from the South.
Well, when you see me walk, it makes sense. I'm
What
very
is it?
slow.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I'm a very slow walker.
Yeah.
I don't have a New York walk.
So I'm surprised you never got beat up because you have this kind of beta demeanor, you're saying.
I project a vibe that says it's not worth it. It's my greatest defense. And I've said horrible things on stage to people.
Yeah.
Back in the day, never got beat up. I think I really like it. I think to get beat up, you kind of have to have a little bit of a like confidence. I think I sent out the thing like, you don't want to beat me up. I'll just be in the fetal position the whole time. It'll just be embarrassing.
It'll seem like abuse.
Yeah. So I think it's like kind of really, and I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, but maybe if I was more weak looking, people would be like, I'll beat him
true.
up.
You got big shoulders.
I'm kind of look like, I'm a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And yet I don't exude any of that alpha shit.
Right.
So it kind of like, I don't know, it puts me in this weird, where like
Perfect.
the beater uppers don't register me, you know?
Well, it's the kind of thing where
I'm going to
somebody
get beat
looks
up
at
later
you.
today. I'm jinxing this
Yeah, I
completely.
know. Watch, I beat the shit out of you right now. No, but like, what if like if they look at you, I think they feel like, all right, here's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Either I beat this guy up and people see it and they're like, why are you beating
Yeah.
up this pudgy little guy
Yeah.
from the South?
Yeah.
And if you get beat up, then that's even more embarrassing.
It's like when I was in a movie theater once and these kids were talking, so I told the usher on them. And then I was afraid because the usher actually went up to them and was like, he like pointed to me. He's like, that guy would like you to be quiet. And I was like, that was not the plan.
That's hilarious.
But I was like, I don't want to fight them because like, either it's a lose-lose. Either I beat up kids, they're like 12,
Right.
or they beat up me.
Yeah.
Either one is not good.
Yeah.
That's why kids are so scary.
Yeah.
Because like you can't actually like fight them
Or have sex with them.
or have sex with them. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do with them.
Right.
So
They're
like,
useless.
Yeah, they're useless.
12-year-olds just you just don't want them around. You don't engage with them, and that's why
They're so scary.
the greatest Louie episode was when those kids fucked with him in the diner.
Yeah.
Because like you can't. Yeah, you're neutered.
Well, I saw a movie recently called Speak No Evil. Have you heard of it?
Sounds familiar.
Well, there's a remake that's out right now. With James
Is it with the
McAvoy.
guy from The Office?
No, there's a remake out now with James McAvoy. Oh wait, maybe someone. No.
Okay.
But there's an original that's incredible from 2002, or no, from 2022. It's an incredible like horror movie, but a lot of the themes are about how like people are like socially conditioned to not really stand up to like real evil, you know? And it really messed with me.
All right.
And after that, for a couple days, like I was on the subway with my girlfriend, and these kids were like moving around, like messing around. They're kind of pushing her accidentally, and I told them to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I never would have done that.
Wow.
And I think they call me fat in Spanish. I don't know, but like, I would never talk to kids. You know.
Yeah.
They could back in the day. They could have like punch her in the face, and I'd have been like, "Sorry, let's go." You know. So that movie made me want to stand up more. But
I think it's also having a significant other can bring out a sort of protection gene that's been laying dormant.
Well, my sister always brings this up. One time I was with my sister, we were like 10, and these girls at the bus stop were like making fun of her, and I was just like, "See you later."
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she always,
Wow.
yeah. That probably makes you upset. Just
My
to hear
sister
that.
was getting harassed at a playground. I was at baseball practice. I was probably 11, and she was probably like 7. And I came down, and this kid was harassing her, and I knocked him down, and I sat on top of him, and I punched him in the face until it was like.
I feel like there's
ridiculous.
a pattern in this podcast where I tell like a sad story, and then you tell like an empowering one that makes you look really good, and that makes me look bad.
I'm still beating up an 11.
I'm like, I couldn't get in the green room, and you're like, they told me that, and I was like, fucking watch me, and I'm like, I abandoned my sister in an act of cowardness, and you're like, I decapitated a kid who talked to my sister. It's just making me look like an asshole.
Wait, this is a sitcom. Can we pitch this as a sitcom? We're roommates.
You're one-upping me. Well, she was my twin sister. Is that different?
Oh.
Yeah. She wasn't my. I mean, I guess.
So wouldn't you protect her even more?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Jesus.
Like girls yelling at her. It was scary.
How many of your how many of your sister's friends have you hooked up with? Because that's the ultimate wingman, a twin sister.
It was quite the loophole because I was having girls sleep over at my house.
Yep.
When I was like 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. There were some. I mean, it was too young for like it was more of the like someone showing me their tits. Like
Really?
But like not the like dating, but the kind of like,
Showing you their tits while you hid behind a shower curtain?
Just like, that kind of experimentation when you're younger. But yeah, I
Yeah.
got some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I had girls staying at my place. Yeah, it was quite the loophole
Yeah.
to be like 13 and have a girl at your.
But what about when you were like 18, 19, 20?
I never really hooked up with my sister's closest friends because I think they saw me as like, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's just because I'm not that attractive, but they saw me as like.
You're not hard on the eyes. You're cute.
Thanks. Well, I guess they saw me more of like a brother.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, you have brother vibes.
I think it would be weird, but I do think if I was hotter, maybe they would have overcome that.
Yeah. They would have fought their way through it. Yeah.
Brother vibe is kind of like,
Yeah.
you're just not that. Yeah.
Did you guys go to the same college, you and your sister?
No. We went to the same high school, but no, not the same college. She went to Hampshire.
Oh, with the hippie
really
school
hippie
in Western
school,
Mass?
yeah. I went
no
there.
grades, no tests.
It's awful. I went there once to visit her, and I was like, I think this is so long ago. It was before like the concept of woke or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just so annoyed. But I don't think I had words for it yet.
It was the original woke school.
Yeah, and I was so annoyed by the elitism, the pretentiousness, the money. But I just didn't like. It wasn't like you couldn't like label shit. back then.
Yeah.
I was just like, these people are annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And what school did you go to?
I went to SUNY Purchase.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
That's where my wife went.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My wife and actually one of my best friends, Matt Malloy. He's an actor. You ever heard of Matt Malloy?
Name sounds really familiar. What's he in?
He's in everything.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he's like, well, he's a bald actor, so he's never the lead, but he's
Give
always...
me one. I know.
He was in
pretty well.
Election.
Oh,
He was
oh,
the vice principal in
in
Election.
Columbine. I mean, in the movie Elephant, too.
Was he an elephant?
He's the principal who gets shot in Elephant.
Okay.
And he's the vice principal in Election.
Yeah.
Election's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, really?
I love that actor.
So he's SUNY Purchase guy, and so
He's great. Him and the principal, who's also great, who's on Veep.
Yeah.
Them two together in Election was pretty incredible.
Right. But you know who also went to your school is Edie Falco.
I know. She spoke at one point with Stanley Tucci, who also went to the school.
That's right.
Yeah, because they were in a play together, Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. Yeah.
And there was a famous director, guy, indie
Filmmaker?
director from the 90s.
Oh, really? I don't remember what director. I went to it was like a playwriting, screenwriting program. It was like fairly new. I went there. I mean, it was whatever. I met like my friend who I write screenplays and make movies with. So like, I guess I think that's what college is for, just to meet people, you know?
Yeah, which is why my son got fucked, because he was in the heart of COVID. So 2 of the years he wasn't even there.
Where was he?
He was at Harvard.
Really?
No, he was at. He was my
I feel
kid.
bad that I was so impressed.
I know, that was a hard reaction.
I know. Well, I can't just completely not believe it. That would be really rude.
It's the family school.
I can't just straight up be like, come on, seriously. I was as shocked as you could be without being completely rude.
Almost angry.
I don't
There's
have
a
the
little bit
balls
of
to be
anger.
like, I'll be like, all right, quit fucking around. Where'd he go?
No, he went to DePaul in Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Big Catholic school.
Yeah. That sucks, though. Yeah, COVID really...
He didn't meet anybody. He's got like his roommates and a couple other guys. His friends are all from high school. These losers from high school.
Kids are
Like this
fucked.
kid Owen.
Yeah, kids are just... It's like the first generation where it's like, you feel bad for them.
Yeah.
You know? It's like sucks. Yeah.
Right.
COVID and horrible online shit and, you know...
My daughter missed her prom and graduation and all that. So
I missed my prom too, but for other reasons. I didn't have the COVID
did
excuse.
you not go to the prom?
No.
Oh, you
I-
couldn't hook up with one of your sister's friends just as a mercy date?
I did one of the gayest things instead of going to the prom. Me and my best friend went to see Rufus Wainwright.
Wow,
Do you know him?
Yeah,
Great
of course.
musician.
Yeah,
one of my
great.
favorites. You know,
Yeah.
actually, I love his dad, Loud and Wainwright, but
Yeah.
he's great too. But yeah, we saw him. And Patti Smith was opening, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I feel like
Wow.
I kind of never understood that. I always think back on that. Like, was Patti Smith not as big back
I
then?
think she's not a huge draw. I've seen
Yeah.
her twice, and both times were in like
Oh, sorry.
1,000-seat theaters.
But this wasn't that big, and Rufus
Yeah.
Wainwright was. But you know, this is before her books. I feel
Right.
like she's had such a resurgence.
Pretty Horses. Is that the poetry book about Maplethorpe?
Maybe, yeah. And then she had the memoirs,
Yeah.
which are really good.
They're really good.
They're really good. And then I saw her on that Dylan documentary, and she's like just speaks in complete gibberish. And I was like, how did she
Oh,
write these books?
really?
Yeah, she just seems like out of her mind.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. My friend's gay and he's obsessed. I think she's a big gay icon.
Oh, that's why she must have opened for Rufus. Okay, yeah. Well, Maplethorpe, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So you just didn't have any possibilities if somebody could take to the prom?
I mean, I was like really overweight. This is I
no
don't
shit.
I don't want to. I mean, this is hard to believe, but this is me at my best.
Really? you look
You were about as surprised as I was about your kid going to Harvard. Like you couldn't be like completely like fuck you, but like you know.
Do you have more confidence now than you did?
Well, I mean, in high school, I mean, like I was very overweight and no one was into me.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to make a move because you can't get rejected when you've never had anything before that. You know what I mean? That's like wild. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have to like. So I was
You
waiting.
have to have tasted it.
I was waiting for someone to make a move, which didn't happen until I lost a bunch of weight, which was. I feel like that was worse for me psychologically to lose a bunch of weight and then immediately have women be interested in me. But I didn't lose my virginity until college.
What year?
Junior year.
Junior year.
Yeah.
Walk us through it.
It's a wild story, actually.
Usually is.
It's actually really like sad.
Wild sounds rapey.
No,
You should say it's
not
an
rapey.
interesting story.
Well, it's a sad story, but not a
Okay.
rapey sad story. It was this friend of mine, and we were like, I had lost weight, and we were complaining about some really fat kid in our class who had lost her virginity.
Yeah.
And we were just complaining one night, and I just straight up was like, well, we should just fuck. Like, we were both virgins. I was like, we should just fuck. I said it like, where you're like, it's a joke unless they're serious.
Yeah.
And she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then we like agreed to like, it was like we scheduled it like a business thing.
When Harry fucked Sally.
Yeah, exactly. And then I fucked her. I remember.
I fucked her. Who says
I'm
that
sorry.
about
Oh,
losing
what?
their virginity?
I'm sorry. Well, was it? Well, I remember. I was really worried about coming early, obviously,
Yeah.
and I read in this. There's no one like. There's this Viktor Frankl book called "Man's Search for Meaning."
Of course.
Very existential, psychological book about the Holocaust. I was reading it at the time, and for some reason, at the very end of the book, he talks about how not to come early. I'm serious. It's like
Maybe
just
thinking about the Holocaust.
yeah. That's how he ties it in.
Count backwards from
He's
6
like,
million.
Here's the way I do it. I'm surprised he didn't actually just say that. But yeah, he said your dick is like, it's because you're trying to not come early that you come early. So you should
Yes.
try to come early and then you won't come early. Like
That's an old acting technique about crying. Is if you
Yes.
want to cry, try not to.
Well, it didn't work. I had sex with her and I tried to come early and then just came immediately. Like it didn't work.
You're like, Franco!
Yeah, Frankel, you fucking, the Holocaust doesn't exist. How do you feel about that? Fuck you. It didn't work. Like my dick, I guess, is more impressionable or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I came immediately and then I just said the condom fell off. And then I got a new condom and had sex again and couldn't get it up. So I'd experienced like both erectile types of dysfunction in like 5 minutes. And then the only way I could get it up was in my head thinking about this girl I actually was like into.
Yeah.
And then I could get it
And
up.
Frank?
And then I had sex thinking about someone else. So the first time I had sex, I was kind of still just jacking off.
Wow. And then did you hook up with this girl again? I can't imagine she wanted more of that.
We hooked up one more time, and she really didn't want me to tell anyone.
Uh-huh.
But I told everyone because why else would I lose my virginity?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm like, oh, so I'm still gonna have to technically be a virgin.
Right.
So I told everyone, and then
So basically she said, I'll have sex with you, but I don't want any paper trail.
yeah.
This can't lead back to me.
Yeah, this is why I'm so fucked up. And and so then I actually ended up leaving the school, going back to Louisville, and I guess she found out that I told people, and she got really mad at me. I remember I was in English class in Louisville, and there was a really cute girl in the class. I remember I was outside afterwards. She called me, and she was really mad that I told people.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, like, at one point, just saying, it's an honor to fuck me, and don't you forget it or something. I said that, like, right when that cute girl walked by. I was like, did not want her to hear that.
Yes, you do.
But so she denied it, and to this day, I don't. She's off the grid, so I don't know. I've never seen someone more off the grid. Like I don't.
After the 3 specials, she's probably telling everybody.
No, I think she's like. I think her tombstone will be like I didn't fuck Raanan. Like I think she denies it to this day. When I tell this story, I'm kind of like, how am I not more fucked up? You know,
Yeah.
it's just so many different types of like rejection. You know.
Yeah.
Like losing weight, still not wanting the person to tell
But
people.
that's the thing about stand-up comedy is like, I mean, you look at me and you think, all right, this guy, his life probably was pretty smooth. You know, I'm
I don't know about that, but
good
yeah.
looking guy. I'm totally kidding. No, I had a fucked up childhood too. You know,
Yeah.
my father was a drunk who used
Sure.
to hit me, and I was way too skinny. I felt like, I think one of the reasons why I'm so violent is that
Sure.
I'm overcompensating for being
Yeah,
skinny
the Joe
growing up.
Pesci, like kind of small guy
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
And then I had learning disorders, so I always did bad in school. I had very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And then I found comedy, and I think it might be similar to you and a lot of comics where I found something that I fucking grabbed it. I go,
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I think this is and I drew a lot of really good feelings about myself from stand-up. I still do. I still go out to the clubs at night. Sometimes I feel really down, and I'm driving home after a good set, and I'm full again. I feel
Yeah.
great.
And then your self-worth is like weirdly dependent on that then, you know?
Yes.
Like for a long time, my girlfriend now actually had never really seen me do stand-up, which was I think everyone before that had seen me do stand-up. Like I don't like that I'd been with or I'd been in a relationship with.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't it didn't seem possible for someone to be into me if they hadn't seen me do stand up. You know? But that does become like your self-worth, you know.
So what did she think the first time she saw you?
She liked it. I mean, she liked it a lot, but it wasn't what she was into me about, which is
Good.
Weird. It's a mystery.
No,
you know?
my wife sees me once a year.
Yeah,
I do a show on St. Patrick's Day every year, and Paul Roman comes out, and it's like when all my friends come, and that's the only reason she comes is because it's like a social gathering.
Yeah. Well, no one's more unimpressed than your partner, except maybe your siblings.
Yeah. No, I think that doing stand-up for your self-esteem is the reason you maybe start it, and then you start to develop other relationships. I mean, hopefully. I know comics, holy shit. I know comics that are my age that are still living set to set. They're alone. They're living in an apartment alone. They got
still living set to set is a very perfect but sad description.
Yeah, and like I've developed enough other stuff where I was able to get through the pandemic without going crazy, and some of these people are ready to fucking kill themselves.
You can't. I mean, I don't know. Like, not like everyone needs to have like kids or something, but I don't think having stand up be the only thing is a real bad recipe.
Now, some people have great friendships. Or you look at like Jeff Ross, like that guy lives life like nobody I've ever seen. I had to stop following him on Instagram because it made me feel like such a lazy, unsocial.
Yeah.
You know, he's at the Super Bowl one week and he's at Fashion Week next week, and you know he's just unbelible. But
classic LA, being jealous of someone's Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
He's doing so much hard work with his
I know.
with his Instagram social media.
Yeah. So how'd you meet the girlfriend?
She used to be a comic, though we didn't really know each other.
Oh.
And then we bumped into it. She lives a block away from me.
You live in Brooklyn?
Astoria, Queens.
Uh-huh.
And when you meet someone who's like kind of lives near you, it's pretty hot in like, New York, you know what I mean? So
can you walk to her place from yours?
She lives with me now, but yeah, she's still it's like literally like 5 apartments down or 6.
And she lives with you?
Yeah, she still has her place as an office. She's a therapist, so she still like works.
No way.
Yeah.
She went from comedian to therapist?
Yeah.
While she was doing comedy, she was in school?
No, she kind of quit comedy and then became a therapist. Yeah.
Did she go to college for it?
Yeah. She went to Columbia.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like the opposite my wife
job,
was at
right?
Columbia for social work graduate.
Well, that's what she went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Columbia Work Social Work School.
Yeah.
Hotbed of anti-Semitism, but that's where she went to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But let's not get into that. But she went to school. Yeah, she went to that program.
Yeah. By the way, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I keep waiting. My agent's supposed to come in. He's Lebanese. And I just paged him like an hour ago, and I haven't heard a word.
Now, in this joke, is your call the one setting it off, or that you just died already?
No, I set it off.
Oh, you set it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call him to tell him.
In this bit, you're the Israeli.
The worst is like... It's a pager is in your pocket or on your belt in front of your dick.
It's
the perfect crime. I got to give it up for your people on that one.
I feel you feel bad for them a little. I mean, they're terrorists, but like it's just. I mean, it's just embarrassing the technology being so old.
That's
we nuked their Walkman.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just like embarrassing.
Exploding tube TVs.
A huge military. And then they're just like the guys on the wire with like burner phones.
I know, it's hilarious. No, I don't feel bad for them because they're soldiers. Like either side are soldiers. If you die, it's not like civilians. I know there was some civilians killed, but the guys that got their balls blown off by the enemy is kind of the perfect crime.
But they're also like
war.
Terrorists, so I guess they kind of want to die.
I guess so.
I guess you feel bad if they don't die.
Yeah.
Then they're like, fuck.
They got 99 virgins, but no dick. Is it 99? How many virgins?
No, it's 72.
72.
Yeah.
And no balls.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, people died, obviously, civilians, which is always sad, but it definitely was like a nice. Well, whatever. It's interesting. Like people criticize Israel for it, but like. I don't know if they understand that Hezbollah was like shooting missiles at them since October 8th. Like literally like before anything, they were like over almost 100,000 people have evacuated.
Yeah,
Israel.
yeah.
I don't know if people contextualize that.
Right.
Whatever.
So
But anyway.
Well, it is interesting because like I grew up in New York, so obviously I read the New York Times every day, and they were always very supportive of Israel, and New York in general is a very Jewish place. My wife is Jewish, but at the same time, like I'm Irish, and the Irish very much side with the with the Palestinians.
You're really torn here. Jewish wife, Irish
background.
Irish background.
So I don't have a side in this. I don't have any skin.
You
in
shouldn't
it.
have a side. I don't have a side either.
But the media wants me to have a side. They want me to hate the other side.
Shouldn't. Yeah, you should resist that. You should. Yeah. I mean,
I hate local. I don't hate international.
I think I think there's a misconception that there's two sides, that it's like one side is just purely for Israel or one side's purely for Gaza. The real two sides are the side of nuance and like looking at all these different things and trying to process it, and the side of just complete extreme dogma.
Right.
You know? And those are the two sides. Those are the real two sides.
Well, I think that just boiled down this country right now. There's so much black and white thinking.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
awful,
headlines.
Yeah.
It's nobody reads an article on their feed. They just read the headline, keep on going.
It's exhausting, and it's the culture war shit is exhausting, and it's all really exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
the culture war thing is blown out of proportion, though. It doesn't affect that many people.
I guess
this
I just
whole
mean it's.
thing and all that, like. That's just grist for the right.
The discourse is exhausting. Like just seeing people talk about it. Just seeing bad faith arguments at all times based on their own like agenda is just exhausting.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like exhausting to. It's exhausting to see people where you know their take always.
Yeah.
And then constantly post a take that you knew they were going to post.
I fucking love your joke about. Oh, sorry. Let me turn off my ringer. I had it on so that I could hear you calling. I love your joke about trans bathrooms.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, my God. That's such a smart joke. I'm just going to paraphrase it because I know you don't want to tell your own joke. But basically saying that, like, so a guy's going to go into a trans bathroom and rape somebody, but if they... Wait.
It's like my mom.
wait. No, what is it? That if you're a murderer, somehow
I'll just do the joke.
Yeah, do it. Do the joke.
I'd rather.
Yeah.
No, I just say. What do I say? I say.
You can't even do it now.
A lot of people think like if you let transgender women into women's bathrooms, it'll be like a loophole for predators.
Yeah.
It's okay if you believe that, but if you do believe that, that does mean you believe there are guys out there going, man, I'd love to go into a woman's bathroom, just abduct and murder someone. But unfortunately, just not allowed in there.
They respect the rule of the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kill someone, but I'm not about to break bathroom sign etiquette.
I love it because, like, I'm all for allowing a trans person to go in the other bathroom, but here's the thing. The women's room is going to change because you may put a dress on it and lipstick on it. That's a dude taking a dump in there.
We'll see how real trans is based on how messy the bathroom gets. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just a joke. Some people get like mad in the comments. And anytime people argue in the comments, they just want to be like, I'm just trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, I don't really think that much about the issue. Like, I just don't know enough and don't feel like I need to have an opinion always, you know? I just think it's a funny joke, and I just think it's like, I mean, maybe there is a little bit of a logical misstep there to think like a sign would stop people, you know? But I don't like have skin in the game, like, you know?
No, and I feel like that I've got this joke now about Walgreens and being corporate douchebags, and it gets an applause break. And every time it does, I go, oh, yeah, that's the comic I want to be. I want to be the guy saying something and getting applause. I almost yell at the audience for doing it.
No, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Whenever I want to tighten my act, like trim it, I'll go to Brooklyn. Anything that gets a snap, I just cut that out.
Do you avoid Brooklyn shows? Because I've only done a couple, and I really didn't like them.
I avoid them more also because they're really far away.
Yeah.
But if they were better, I'd probably go more. Yeah, I mean...
It's the same thing as going to Echo Park or Los Feliz out here.
Well, the problem is, it's like, it's not just Brooklyn. It's when you have like a young crowd, sometimes like a really young crowd, sometimes it can be really good. And sometimes it's just that kind of thing where they're like, they just don't really know what to laugh at.
Yeah.
And they do think about whether to laugh before they laugh. And it's it's a certain level of sensitivity that kind of ruins comedy.
Yeah.
Because I think comedy has to have some level of insensitivity, a little.
Yes.
It's not just with making fun of other people. It's not just like the whole whatever punching down bullshit thing. That's not really, whatever. It's the fact that even if I'm self-deprecating, that gets like pity now.
Uh-huh.
And that like really, like I'll do a self-deprecating joke and people are like, oh. And I'm like, well, that's like I'm confident enough to be funny about these things. And I'm assuming it's relatable. And when you are, you're distancing yourself from me. And there's more punching down in the awe sound.
Yeah.
than
I
any
think
sound.
it's because there's this sort of voice in comedy now that's very confessional and very autobiographical.
Yes, and not funny.
And so people really are signing up for a little ride with somebody's life. I was Hasidic, but then I transitioned.
I know.
And it's like, I don't want you to know really that much about me. I just want to make you laugh.
Anytime someone brings up their identity, like I don't know, even if sometimes it's a good joke, but a lot of times it just feels so hack. Like what does it matter?
I know.
Like it's just like
they're doing a 15-minute set and they're going to do a fucking one-person show up there.
Yeah, and it's like, do you really like? I don't know. It bothers me. Like
I hate when people are different too. Yeah, I just hate when somebody's not the same.
I don't know. I think as you get older, also you just start to hate more and more comedy.
Yes.
Until it's down to like finding two people funny or something.
Colin Quinn and David Tell. Everybody agrees. Those two guys.
That's the unanimous. Yeah.
Who's the woman everybody? Maria Bamford, I think everybody loves.
Yeah. She's great. I mean, there's a lot of,
What other female comics are unequivocal?
Unequivocally great?
Yeah.
I think Michelle Wolf is great.
Yeah.
I love Kathleen Madigan. I used to open for her a lot.
Yeah.
I think she's great. I mean, there's you like
Rachel Feinstein.
Rachel Feinstein's amazing. Yeah. But that's it. I'm joking. I used to, whenever we talk about
Whitney's really good.
Whitney's good. Whenever we talk about favorite comics, when I used to be like a douche, I'd always be like, I'd name like four. I'd be like, oh, my favorite comics are Louis C.K., Bill Burr, Stuart Lee, and some woman. No, there's a lot of great female comics. I mean,
more and more all the time.
There's a great
thing.
one in Maddie Weiner. I don't know if you heard. She's in New York, newer, but really great.
Yeah.
Really great. Yeah, plenty of great
Who's
comics.
the one who Louie just produced her special?
She's great. Adrienne Appaluccio.
Yeah,
she's
right,
great.
right.
She has a touch of a psychopathy like you.
She does.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love her, but she is.
Yeah.
We went to. I opened with her. Me and her opened for Louie and all over Europe, and we went to Israel.
No shit.
Yeah, a while ago, and we were at the Western Wall, and you know how it's split up between men and women.
Okay.
Like the men are on one section, and the women are on the other section. And it's like very religious there. Like,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to go in the other section.
Yeah.
And Adrian was at the women's section was too long, so she's like, I'm going to the men's section. And I'm like, you cannot do that. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really want a bunch of religious Jews yelling at you in Hebrew? Are you really like okay with that? And she's like, I'm going to go. And I'm like, you do not want to go. This is a lose-lose. Either you'll get stoned or everyone will just think you're a man and not notice. And and finally I got her to not go, but it was like, I was like, please don't go. Yeah.
Right.
But I also I love Adrian, but I also think like, it's like, you should respect the customs of the place you're at, I think,
Well, I liked when Ali G went to which character was he doing when he went to Israel and he wore like assless chaps but with the rest of the
He's got a touch of psychopath.
and they chased him. They fucking
I mean,
chased
you
him
have
through the streets.
you have to have a touch of psychopath to be that guy.
Yeah, Stanhope's like that. He really
Yeah.
tries to enrage the crowd.
To not care. you
Yeah.
know? I think another one who's one of the best is Chad Daniels, who I also think like
Really?
I think he has a touch of, and I mean that in a good way. I don't think he's totally prepared to lose a crowd. And
Yeah.
I think that's pretty wild. And
Yeah.
he's the one comic I saw one weekend. I don't really mean he's a psychopath, but he's the one comedian I saw one weekend that I watched every set.
Yeah.
Because it was just interesting to watch him because he's kind of a next level thing where he almost gets like bored of crushing, so he like loses the crowd just to see if he can get them back. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not like that at all.
You naturally lose them.
Yeah, I just want people to like me.
You're very consistent. You really have a style it's filled with jokes, and it's. Do you ever lose your voice? Because you really come at them.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Like if you're doing a 5-show weekend.
Yeah, I've lost my voice. I've tried to control it better over the last like 5 years. I try to find like a lot of places to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know. And then kind of like how Eddie Pepitone, I feel like he always finds like quiet moments, you know?
Right.
Which is, it's very funny when he's quiet because it's such a shift.
When I'm losing mine, I just turn into Johnny Crowdwork. I figure let them do half the talking.
I've tried to learn how to speak from my diaphragm more a little, but I'll lose my voice.
You just feel like you're caught in your voice a little bit.
Yeah.
It makes me worry about you when I hear you the way you deliver. Like, oh, this guy's going to fucking...
No,
you don't want to turn into one of those FM DJs, you know?
I try to get a little better at it.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm loud. But I think, my one niche is that I have pretty good jokes for a loud comic. I feel like a lot of loud comics maybe don't always have great jokes or good jokes.
Trying to think of loud comics that I don't consider you loud. I just
I
think you're just forceful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
maybe I'm not. I used to be really loud. I also used to be like sensitive.
Gilbert.
Yeah, well, that's definitely who people compare me to Gilbert a lot.
Yeah.
People compare me to Gilbert or Artie Lang.
Uh-huh.
They really
Yeah,
overestimate how much they think I like being compared to Artie Lang. They really overestimate the joy I get. Being told, nothing against him, but being told I look like someone without a nose.
A guy who,
People really overestimate the joy and gratitude they think I get.
from a guy who was called Baby Gorilla by Don Rickles.
But Gilbert Gottfried, I don't really know his stuff that well. I mean, I know his, but like I do relate to him because I remember that he said one time that the reason he's loud because he started at bars where no one was paying attention. He had to yell to get, and that's how I started.
Right,
so I always feel like I had to yell just to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't make any sense. Like if I'm like at like a small theater, I'm just yelling and they're like, we're all listening. But it's too late. I had to fight my way. Because when you start out, I feel like there's so many shows.
Well, first of all, I didn't mean it as a critique.
Okay.
I hope you're not taking it that way. No, I
take everything as a critique. So.
No, I think it's the kind of thing where sometimes I find myself like I'm a good starter in life, and I'm like that with stand-up. I go up and I really hit them hard for 20 minutes, and then I go, oh, I fucking got him.
Yeah.
And I already take the win, and then I can start to like get quiet, and I look at myself and I go, man, you got fucking flat during that second half. But I just mean that like you keep your intensity up all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I try to like, I'm very. I don't know. I mean, I think everyone's like comedic, whatever, like voice. I think it's defined a little by how insecure they are, and I'm very insecure. So like, I definitely like try to do well the whole time and want to do like.
But you must feel like you're one of the real like hot guys in New York who consistently does well. You work in the cellar, and you're respected by a lot of good comics.
Comedy's weird because like when you like are doing okay, you're just around people who are doing so much better than you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're doing okay, it means everyone else in the room is just like a millionaire.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, like, but I mean, I guess that's good. I mean, I guess you always want to be in a position where like people are doing better than you in the room, right?
For sure.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's easy to lose perspective a little.
But it is nice to then swing by one of those like bar shows and just get people like, what are you doing here?
It's like when you go home. Yeah. Like go to your hometown. Yeah. I mean, in those situations, you do feel like, but yeah, I mean, like I'm friends with people where I'm like, I don't even know think you should be friends with me. We're in different tax brackets.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get on Joe Rogan? You did great on that recently.
Oh, yeah,
that
thanks.
episode.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I don't know. My managers gave the booker the info, and then Joe follows me. I think maybe he knew my stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
But you stayed funny on it. It's kind of hard sometimes with Joe because he could start going down rabbit holes.
I know.
And then the comedy can sort of take a back seat to an exploration of stuff. But you kept it funny.
I try. I try. I'm not like. There's a lot of looking up stuff.
Yeah. Jamie?
It's a lot of like reading out articles out loud.
I definitely learn. Every time I go on there, I walk away from it going like, Jesus Christ, I want to go further down.
Right?
Yeah, I want to go further down that rabbit. He also can challenge some of my opinions on things.
He's pretty, he is kind of quietly challenging.
Yeah.
He's like calm, and it's like calm experience and also like challenging.
Well, because he's not preaching it, he's questioning everything.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think he gets this bad rep from the left because he comes out with opinions that don't mesh with the status quo. But then sometimes if you hear him out, like some of this stuff about vaccinations, and I'm not anti-vax by any means. I'm all about getting vaxxed, but there is a really fucking questionable pipeline of money coming through the whole thing.
And also, I think even more important than that is that, like, I do think he believes in what he's saying.
Yes.
And I think as long as there's a lot of things I disagree with him about.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you, like, believe in what you're saying, you're at least not, like Tucker Carlson doesn't believe in what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing disingenuous about Joe.
Yeah,
and he will also change his opinion.
Yeah, I do think he believes in what he's saying. And at the end of the day, I think you have to respect that. Like, I know when he was on Spotify, like a lot of musicians, like, or not a lot, but some musicians,
Neil Young and Joni Mitchell,
which is like, to me, I think it's more important you do want to live in a country where people have the right to like say what they believe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's almost a little more dangerous to not have that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I get what they're saying too. I get they felt like we were in this kind of emergency situation, but like, I don't know. I do think in America, like,
you always need a check on your own facts. You need somebody checking the facts.
Well, that's why the conservative and Democrat, it used to be like a kind of okay system because they kind of check each other.
Right.
But now it's just now it's I feel like any responsible Republican kind of switched over to the Democrats.
Do you and it's funny because you're special. You say that you don't like Joe Rogan, you don't like a lot of things he stands for, but if he asked me to come on his show, that would be great.
Yeah.
Did you address that on the podcast?
No, I was really worried he saw that. I was like really worried because it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
But to do the joke, I have to present it like I don't like him for it to work.
Yeah.
And I call him transphobic, which I didn't even like have that opinion. It's just that my last bit was a trans bit.
Yeah.
So I had to have a segue. So I'm just like, that's why I don't like Joe Rogan. He's transphobic. The only way I'd ever even remotely consider going on his podcast is if he asked me, So it's just a joke. But I was worried that he'd.
No, he loves shit like that.
He does?
He loves about that stuff.
Yeah.
I know two other comics that do bits like that. Not that bit, but just
similar.
But talking about him. And he has them on the show all the time.
But yeah, no, he was really cool. And yeah, I do think it's like, yeah, you can't blame someone if they're saying how they feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you disagree with it.
All right, now it's time for you to tell me how you feel. This is a bit called the Fastballs with Fitz.
Okay.
I don't like the title either.
It just got so slow after that.
You're
like, fastball with Fitz, and then you just sigh like an old man.
It's like one of my sets. I just fucking fade on it. Is it unfair that some people are likable and naturally likable or good looking?
Of course. But everything's unfair.
Yeah.
But of course. But I think hot privilege is like a huge thing.
Right.
A huge thing.
Uh-huh.
I've been doing this bit about it where it's just talking about how it's so much easier for like an ugly guy to be considered creepy versus a hot guy. Like for an ugly guy to be considered creepy, all he has to do is just like flirt with a woman and she'll be like, I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And for a hot guy to be creepy, he literally has to be like Ted Bundy for women to be like, I'm getting a weird vibe.
Even Ted Bundy.
And then I go, even him, he got married in jail, which is the ultimate hot privilege. He killed 30 people and still some women were like, he's a bad boy. Like if I was a serial killer, I'm not getting married in jail. But so I think hot privilege is a big thing. And I think it's bigger than, I guess this is a tough thing to say, but I think it's being ugly, like actually ugly, is worse than being any minority in terms of like privileges. You know?
Right.
Because even no matter what minority you are, you're still beloved by your community.
Yeah.
But ugly people are not beloved. There's no ugly community.
No.
Ugly people hate other ugly people.
They don't want to be seen with other.
They don't want to be seen with other ugly people. And you're not like your ethnicity. White people hate ugly white people. It's a bad look on their whole group in general, you know? So you have no community.
No, sometimes when you're at the mall, you'll see an ugly teenage girl, and then she'll be with a bunch of hot girls.
Yeah.
And they do that. They'll take one in.
Of course, take one in to feel better. Yeah.
And she will be the designated driver, and she'll,
the wingman when someone's trying to fuck them. She's there to be like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
No bigger wingman than the unattractive friend of the girl you're trying to hook up with at a party.
Yeah.
That if they have a friend with them who's like kind of unattractive, you're not getting laid.
Right. And then sometimes you see a pack of ugly girls together, but
then that doesn't work. It's weird.
It's awful.
It's like, am I in the movie Freaks?
Awful.
It's like, yeah.
Also, sometimes they share like a bad body trait.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they all have big asses and small tits.
Don't get me started. I'm not a big fan of these big ass culture. Every guy's like, look at that big ass. I'm like, that's just a fat person.
Yeah. Right. No, but then you go to the gym and you got these women that relentlessly do squats.
I don't like it. It's disproportionate.
They build it up.
Isn't disproportionate something being disproportionate bad?
No.
You don't think so? I think it is.
No, because in nature, wide hips say that you're better at delivering babies, and big tits mean you can feed the baby. You're supposed to look voluptuous.
Right, but like tits can get too big. I know every guy calls me gay when I say this, but it's true. Tits can get too big.
No.
Symmetry is important. Like aesthetically, like something looking like you have elephantitis.
Yeah.
Like elephantitis or whatever. That's not good.
There you go. Come on, everybody.
It's not good. I'm against, I don't know.
I think you're wrong. I think you're way off base, sir.
But yeah.
Have you ever borrowed a lot of money or lent a lot of money?
From people or from student loans?
No, from people.
Well, I just raised money for a little movie I made.
Oh, really?
So that's something.
No kid. How much did you raise?
Well, it's a 25-minute thriller that's like a small version of a feature. We raised $34,000.
Wow.
You can still donate now at memoryroommmovie.com.
Memoryroommmovie.com.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like everybody, all of my listeners, I'm serious, just give $5.
Yeah. Don't give it to Kamala, whatever text you get from the... By the way, the fact that every president's just texting you for money all the time makes me feel not bad for asking for anything ever. Right?
Yes.
But yeah, donate now. You get cool rewards when you donate. You can get your name in the credits.
Oh, really?
For only $30.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll hold you to it. We went way over budget.
Yeah. Where'd that money come from?
The money we went over budget?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're trying to raise more money. I mean, we're going to have...
So is it on credit cards right now?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we went really over budget.
How far over?
$15K.
So you got $15K on credit cards right now?
Yeah.
What's the interest rate?
It's good. It's not bad. It's our producer has a card first company, so I think we're okay for a little bit.
Okay, well then seriously. No, I'm serious. Like people follow their dreams. You are a very creative, interesting guy. You have a lot to say. And support this film. Just $5. Just fucking do it. It'll take you 30 seconds, and this guy can create something that may turn into a feature.
Yeah. We're trying to use it to use money for feature. You can watch the trailer on there. It's, we made a little trailer so people know that we're serious.
Okay.
Made a trailer before completing the movie.
That's great. Just put in a note when you donate. Put in a note. Saw you on Fitzdog Radio, and then we'll know how much. And I'll be proud of you guys if we can. Let's try to raise like $5,000.
Hell
right
yeah!
now.
Oh, well, thanks so much. Yeah, wow. But yeah, so that's where I've borrowed money. I guess I borrowed money from my. I don't really borrow that much money from my parents.
Asked the question, not assuming you'd ask me for it, but scratch that from the script for next time. Have you ever not finished a set on stage?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's why it's a fastball for Fitz.
No, I got close. I've left stage. Does that count?
Yes.
I've left stage actually recently.
Yeah.
I was at the New York Comedy Club and the mic, there was this really loud buzzing.
Yeah.
And no one was in there. And I was telling the waiters, can you all check on this?
Yeah.
And none of them did because waiters just act like you don't exist.
Yeah.
And so I literally was I've never done it. I felt I have to leave stage and figure out what's going on. So I left stage for a minute to talk to people, and then they told me it was working. Then I went back on stage.
Oh, you went back on?
I went back. I'm
then
sorry.
that doesn't count.
No, I've never left.
Yeah.
I've never left stage. I mean, never completely ended. And I've had some real violence on the shows before.
Really?
I was at the show where I couldn't go to the green room because of Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
That show, there's a heckler in the audience, and a waiter went up to him, just asked him, said to be quiet. He choked him out. No. And then 5 people jumped on the guy, started punching him. We turned the lights on.
What city was this?
Tacoma, which is kind of
shit.
They can be kind of violent there. The lights went on. I was really scared because I was I'd love to be in the green room right now for safety, but I couldn't go. At least Carlos's shirts are safe. But
wait, you were on stage during this?
Yeah. And then I just kind of stayed in the corner. But then I was.
You continued the show?
Yeah, because you know how in your head you're all right, this will be good. Because anytime you continue a show, everyone's just so impressed you didn't shit yourself, you know. Yeah. But I will be honest, I didn't fully get them back. I got them back, but not fully, and I felt bad about myself. But then I remember, they did see real violence. That's tough when you see real violence.
Yeah, real violence really affects people's psyches.
It takes away the show quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're breaking up the matrix.
Yes, it's whatever. I mean, there is a sense of a show up there. You're on stage, and there's this kind of thing, and very few things break that because it's just a stand-up.
Yeah, right.
But violence breaks that.
And Carlos went up after that, and did he address it?
Well, he was headlining the Future show.
Oh, right.
But I'm sure he did my jokes in a Mexican accent.
How long ago was this?
A couple of years ago.
Okay, because I'm going to Tacoma next month. I'm going to ask them about the story.
Make sure you stay in the green. Yeah, they have the footage, this cam footage from the fight.
They got that green room with all the candy in it.
Yeah, that's not great.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up.
Some people have bad self-will or willpower.
Final question.
Yeah.
What's the hackiest bit you've ever done?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, fuck. I mean, I had what's the hackiest bit I've ever done? Is this hacky? I did this joke recently. I don't know if it's hacky or just corny. I said, I woke up this morning. I had 3 non-Heineken zeros. I'm worried I'm becoming a non-alcoholic. That's pretty hacky.
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah. That's perfect for that question.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I still think it's kind of funny.
I do a joke where I go. I've been drinking the Heineken NA beer.
Uh-huh.
The NA, and so I thought of a commercial for them. It goes like this: "Hey, want to have a blast tonight?" Nah.
That's good. That's fun.
Yeah, there's something fun there. All right, listen, you're a lot of fun. And if people want to see you live, you'll be at Skankfest September 27th through the 29th. You're going to put a couple pounds on that weekend.
Oh, yeah, for eating and stuff? Really?
Don't they eat garbage in the middle of the night?
Yeah, fuck.
You a drinker, drug doer?
I don't drink.
You drink?
No, I don't drink. I take edibles at night sometimes.
Okay.
To go to sleep. But no, I don't drink. See Skankfest or I'll be at Comedy Off Broadway.
I got you. Sorry. I'm not one of those podcasters that go like, "Hey, you want to plug your shit?"
You're so researched.
In Astoria on October 11th, you'll be doing a solo show.
Well, I was going to do a show about anti-Semitism I've been working on.
Yeah.
I was going to do it October 11th, but it turns out that's Yom Kippur. So I'm just going to do a regular show then. But I will be doing my anti-Semitism show on October 28th at that same place.
What's the place?
It's called the Grove 34 in Astoria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Comedy Off Broadway in Lexington, not far from where you grew up, October 17th to the 19th. Colorado Run Vale.
I'm doing a weird run in Colorado.
Oh, I see. So November 7th through the 10th. If you go to the website, RaananHershberg.com.
Yeah, just go there. You'll see my tour dates. And also watch my my special Brave that came out not too long ago.
Yes, it's excellent. And
Thank
you shot
you.
it at the Comedy Cellar?
Shot at the Comedy Cellar, Village Underground. My second special I've shot at the Comedy Cellar.
You really dressed it. You took stuff off the walls and put up your lights.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
directors are really great. These guys, Jason Katz and James Webb. Do you know either of them? They're really really
Jason
great.
Katz sounds familiar.
But they did tube lights, and that made it look kind of cool.
Did they produce it? Did they bankroll it?
No, I've been bankrolling everything.
That's another credit card debt right there.
I've bankrolled so much of my career.
Jesus, that's how you got to do it, man.
I'm my financier.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, you know.
All right, so spell your name for your website so people can find it.
So it's RaananHershberg.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram, and the link to the tickets are there. Raanan Comedy, Raanan Comedy. Just follow me on Instagram, and the tour dates are on there. And,
I love it.
Yeah, and just watch my special Brave. It's on YouTube right now.
3 great specials. Check them all
Thank
out.
you, man.
And thanks for being here, man. Good
Oh, it
to
was
see
an
you
honor.
again.
You're such a great comic. It's always fun to be hanging with you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, awesome. It's
All
so much
right.
fun. All right.
God bless the USA.